Alright, 37's back. Now I have a video of this long time ago, a couple years ago, building this car. When I first started YouTube, it's mostly pictures. There's a couple, I think, little videos, but of course I didn't know what I was doing back then, so it's not very good. But sponsored by Mickey D's here today, it looks like. We got a bunch of yellow and red machines in here. Those valve covers are gonna go. We're gonna get a black cap for the distributor and black wires. So we're still missing some parts at paint, but we can get started on it, start the wiring, we get the, there's a lot of stuff needs to go into this thing. So this will take me a month or so to get wired and get all put back together. Get her back on the road. I threw the taillights in there, French those in. So yeah, I did a lot of stuff on this one. Did all the floors in there in the tunnel. Hidden door hinges and trunk hinges. So shave the door handles. So let's see here what this is. So these 37s don't come with a full rocker panel. So I built a rocker panel for it so we can make the door seal all the way around. And put a recessed firewall in there. Some vintage air. Didn't do any of the chassis and suspension work. That was done by the owner and his friend Craig. And they did a great job on it. So let's get this thing going. It should be a fun project and it's gonna look good. I think he's gonna put some American 5 stars on it, and it'll turn out nice once we get her all together. Alright guys, so stay tuned, and I'm gonna get some parts going. I got a bench full of stuff over here, and the owner's gonna bring a bunch more stuff for me today. So this is a pretty big, decent project. Most of the stuff's already mocked up, so just bolt it right on. Also wanted to mention another cool thing I did to this. We did put the power vent in it, which is a kit, but nobody's ever done a power front window because these windows open. They're usually hand crank, and there's no room behind the stock dash to get it in there. So we actually used a little different year dash. It's not here right now, but I made a motor setup, and I'll show you that along the way. That this front window is actually the only 37 Ford that I know of or ever heard of that's going to have a power front window. So I've already designed it, it's already done, it's been tested and stuff. So I think that's in my original video. If you go back and look, it's pretty far back, a couple years. So check it out, guys. Alright, been chugging along here. Power window motors in. AC box is in. This is the power front window mechanism I made. And it's basically an actuator motor and gearbox modified. Got the power cowl vent done. So we got some more parts today. We got the dash, glove box. A steering column sitting over here, some more dash pieces. So I'm gonna start getting this dash together. I got all the gauges up in a box up there, and we'll see what this looks like. I gotta find the hinge. The hinge is MIA right now, so I may have to make one, or it was just a pretty simple hinge, so I can't find it. All right, the knob on top of the dash turned out good, but you're probably wondering what it's for. So there used to be a hand crank for the window here to open the front window up. Since I made it electric, I figured I'd put the switch where the old hand crank went. Which is kind of tricky, but that's how it works. Right there, and it tucks up under there and nice and hidden. So pretty trick stuff. People wonder how this works. So I got one of these together. And these are actually backlit with LEDs too. So I kind of got them Frenched in there. And that'll all be backlit with an LED. Looks pretty good, I think. matches that knob up there, so. Alright, we're back in the garage. I'll show you what I kind of got going on here. So we got that one mounted. But I forgot to put the LEDs in, so I gotta take it back out. So I'm gonna work on trying to get most of this dash together today. The hinge got lost, we think, in chrome. We have the spring back from chrome, but we never got the hinge. So we ordered a new one on eBay. Luckily we found one, and it's on its way. So I'm gonna continue on trying to get these gauges in, get this other air conditioning thing set up, and get this all buttoned up today. Alright, well, I decided probably not going to go with the backlighting of these. We were originally going to paint the dash black, because they really popped off all the chrome and everything when they were backlit. But now that we got everything yellow, the light either looks orange or the white light looks too blue. It just doesn't look right. So, probably just not going to backlight them. It's not the end of the world. It still looks good. And we can fool around with that later. If we decide to do it later, it's not the end of the world to take those out. So. Day. My phone ran out of battery yesterday, but I was working on this. This is the tester one, and I've already fitted this when I mocked it up. I just want to make sure everything's gonna line up good. That looks like it's gonna be fine. So, made sure my lower joint was locked in place on the rack, and this is where it needs to be. So this will work fine. I'm gonna mark and drill the holes too. So I have another piece. I'm going to use this. Just cut its size, dimple it, install it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and install this, and then what I'll do is I'll tighten down these set screws a little bit, and that'll leave a nice mark on there for me. Oh yeah, there's a little lip. I gotta file that real quick so I can get this. This needs to go all the way up there so I can get it into the other piece, but it's got a little lip it's hitting. So I'm gonna file that real quick. It only needs to go that far for installation, and then it sets back to neutral position. That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's go reinstall. Still chugging along on this thing. Got Those all drilled and tapped in there. We got the deck lid hinges on. Just working on this thing. There's a bunch of little stuff I'm waiting for. Alright, well I'm going to start cleaning up these air conditioning lines. They're pretty nasty. They've been sitting in the body shop and got all dusty. I want to clean. They've been capped, but I'm going to clean the insides out too with mineral spirits or lacquer thinner or something. I'll figure that out. But I think I'm going to polish these ends up a little bit, get them cleaned up a little nicer, and start working on this. Before and the after, so quite a bit of difference, a little nicer looking. So we'll polish these all up a little bit and get the hoses all blown out with the blower, and then blow out the insides and flush them and do it again. So alright guys, so I'm done polishing everything, so you can see that it all turned out really good. Now I'm going to clean everything out. So I went ahead and I looked up what's compatible with PTFE to use to clean it, and it turns out acetone's fine. I'll show you the little chart down here in the corner somewhere. And so I'm going to show you how I clean these things out with acetone, because I've never really had to do this before. I've never ran into this problem, but this thing's been a long project, and it was in the body shop for a while without caps on this stuff for some reason. So there's some dust in there, and I'll see if I can get a picture of the inside and show you what's going on. Yeah, it's really hard to tell, but you can probably see some debris kind of sticking around the edges there. So now you can see it. A lot of debris in there, so we gotta get that all cleaned out. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm blowing them out first, then I'm soaking a rag in acetone, basically a paper towel. Doing it over and over with the clean towel each time until I notice it's all cleaned out and no debris left. I got those cleaned out, got a few more to do. Just realized I never crimped these. Could have been mocked up before I even had my crimper, so it's been so many years I don't remember. So, well, I have a crimper now, so I'm gonna have to figure out which position these all go in, and then we'll crimp them all down. But we get the rest of them cleaned out and get it put on. Figures. What the heck was going on here, and I didn't put this motor back together, the owner did. So I had this actually clocked over on the side. That was where my lines were reaching. So I'm going to reclock that and get those all hooked up to the firewall. Alright, we got that all kind of sitting there. This mounts to the inner finger well. It's kind of down out of the way. All the lines are kind of down out of the way too. Keeps them kind of hidden. Once that fender well is in here, they just hung up against the side of that and mount to it. Starting to get there.